Have you ever looked at a massive mountain range or a strange, oversized rock formation and wondered if something truly colossal once walked the earth? For centuries, humanity has been fascinated by tales of giants, and almost every culture has its own stories. Today, we're diving deep into the Pacific, to the beautiful land of Aotearoa, New Zealand, to uncover the fascinating and sometimes fearsome legends of the Maori giants. These aren't just simple fairy tales, they are rich, complex narratives woven into the very fabric of the land and its people. So get ready, because we're about to explore a world where giants shaped the landscape and battled with heroes. First, let's understand who these giants were. In Maori tradition, they are often referred to as taniwha, although this term can also describe other mythical creatures like sea serpents or land guardians. More specifically, stories speak of gigantic human-like beings, sometimes called the Kahui Tipua or the Band of Ogres. These weren't just big people, they were supernatural beings with immense strength and often a rather unpredictable nature. Some legends portray them as guardians and protectors, while others cast them as terrifying monsters who preyed on humans. One of the most famous giant figures is Matau. His story is etched into the geography of the South Island. Legend says Matau was a giant who lived on the coast and used a massive, barbed hook to catch fish. One day, he hooked a powerful taniwha named Te Taniwha Herea. The struggle between the giant and the sea creature was so immense that it carved out the landscape we see today. Matau pulled with all his might, and the taniwha thrashed violently, creating what is now known as the Otago Harbor. The very shape of the harbor is said to be the body of the taniwha, and the Otago Peninsula is Matau's hook, forever embedded in the land. When you fly over this area, you can almost see the story unfolding below you. It's a powerful reminder of how these legends are not just stories, but explanations for the natural world. Then there's the story of the giant of Wakatipu. Lake Wakatipu, one of New Zealand's most stunning lakes, has a legend that is as deep as its waters. The story goes that a fearsome giant named Matau, yes, another Matau, a common name in these tales, had stolen the beautiful daughter of a local chief. The chief was heartbroken and offered his daughter's hand in marriage to anyone who could rescue her. A brave young warrior named Matakari accepted the challenge. He knew he couldn't defeat the giant in a direct fight, so he used his cleverness. He waited until the giant was fast asleep. As Matau slept, Matakari set fire to the bracken ferns the giant was sleeping on. The fire engulfed the giant, burning a huge, giant-shaped hole into the ground. The flames were so hot they melted the snow and ice from the surrounding mountains, which flowed down to fill the hole, creating Lake Wakatipu. And the lake's famous rhythmic rise and fall of its water level, a phenomenon known as a siege, is said to be the eternal heartbeat of the sleeping giant, a constant reminder of the epic battle that took place there. But not all giants were malevolent. Some stories speak of the Paunamu giants. Paunamu, or green stone, is incredibly precious in Maori culture. Legends say that the first Paunamu was a giantess named Putini, a guardian taniwha. She fell in love with a woman named Waitaiki. But another powerful taniwha, a possessive stone shark named Tamahua, also wanted Waitaiki. Putini fled with Waitaiki, trying to escape Tamahua's relentless pursuit. They traveled down the west coast of the South Island. Fearing they would be caught, Putini made a heartbreaking decision. To protect Waitaiki forever, she transformed her into her own essence into Paunamu and laid her to rest in the river bed. Putini then became the guardian of the green stone and the rivers where it's found. So, when people find Paunamu, they are not just finding a stone. They are connecting with the spirit of Waitaiki and the protective energy of the giant Putini. These stories often served multiple purposes. They were entertainment, of course, passed down orally through generations around the fire, but they were also educational. They taught geography, explaining why a harbor was shaped a certain way or why a lake had a peculiar tide. They taught values like the importance of bravery and cleverness, as seen in the story of Matakari. They also served as warnings, teaching children to be wary of certain dangerous areas which might be described as the home of a fearsome giant. These narratives were a living encyclopedia of the people and their environment. Let's talk about the Teikahui Tipua, the band of ogres. These were said to be the original inhabitants of the South Island before the arrival of Maori ancestors. They were a race of giants, sometimes described as clumsy and foolish, but also possessing great magical powers. They could stride from mountain to mountain in a single step and could transform the landscape with their actions. One tale describes how they tried to build a bridge of rock to the North Island. They failed, and the scattered remains of their failed project are said to be the rocky islet you can still see in the Cook Strait. Eventually, these giants were either defeated by later arrivals or simply faded away, but their presence remains in place names and stories scattered across the land. Another fascinating figure is the giant Ruamoko. In Maori cosmology, Ruamoko is the son of Ranginui, the Sky Father, and Papatranuku, the Earth Mother. When his parents were separated to create the world of light, Ruamoko was still at his mother's breast and was carried down into the earth. He is the god of earthquakes, volcanoes, and seasons. His movements below the surface are what cause the ground to shake and volcanoes to erupt. As a giant unborn child, his power is immense and primal. So, every earthquake is a stir from this sleeping giant, a powerful reminder of the creation of the world and the immense forces that lie just beneath our feet. This connects the idea of giants directly to the very real and powerful geological forces that shape New Zealand, a country located on the Pacific Ring of Fire. So, what should we make of these stories today? Are they just myths? Well, perhaps, but they are also so much more. They are a window into the worldview of a culture deeply connected to its environment. For the Maori people, the land is not just dirt and rock. It's alive, filled with history, personality, and spirit. The mountains, rivers, and lakes all have a story, and often that story involves a giant. These legends give the landscape a soul. They remind us that the world is a magical and powerful place, and that we are just a small part of a much larger narrative. They teach respect for nature, not as a resource to be exploited, but as a living entity with its own power and history. Think about it. When you view a mountain as the body of a sleeping giant, you look at it differently. It's no longer just a geological formation, it's a sacred being. This perspective fosters a deep sense of kataikatanga, or guardianship and protection of the environment. The giants of Maori legend are powerful metaphors for the forces of nature, both creative and destructive. They represent the awe-inspiring power that can carve a harbor, create a lake, or shake the very ground we stand on. In a world where we often feel disconnected from nature, these stories offer a bridge back. They invite us to look at the world with a sense of wonder and to see the stories hidden in the landscape around us. The next time you see a jagged peak or feel a distant tremor, maybe you'll think of the giants. Maybe you'll remember Matau's great struggle, or the eternal heartbeat of the giant under Lake Wakatipu, or the fiery stirrings of Ruamoko. These tales aren't just from the past. They continue to enrich the present, reminding us of the deep, powerful, and often gigantic forces that have shaped our world and our imaginations. Thanks so much for joining me on this journey into the world of Maori giants. If you enjoyed this exploration of myth and legend, please hit that like button and subscribe for more stories from around the world. Let me know in the comments which giant's story you found most fascinating. Until next time, stay curious.